Hello there, and welcome to the ScrapbookPal YouTube channel. In today's paper crafting video, I'm going to be sharing with you a 6x6 card featuring products from Altenew. This is Carrie Rhodes, and I can't wait to share the card making fun with you. Let's first take a look at the products that we're going to use in today's video. We have this One Go word and banners stamp set, the pink star or star pink tulip die set that has 11 layering dies in it from Altenew, and then we have our Rustling Leaves 3D embossing folder, which will be the background for today's card. So let's take a look at this die set. You can see the 11 dice here and how they're going to layer up on each other to create the tulip. We'll come back to that, but first I want to make my background on this 6x6 piece of watercolor paper. I'm going to mist it with a little bit of water so that when it goes through the die cutting machine with the rustling leaves, it's not going to tear the paper. It's going to stretch it instead and really press that background into the paper. It's so beautiful. All right, to dress this up, give it a little bit of bling, I have the Sparkle Texture Paste. This is a clear translucent paste that has glitter suspended in it. It's not a ton of glitter, just a little bit, and I love that look. So I'm just using my finger to rub this over that embossed surface and not worrying about getting it everywhere, but just over that embossed area. I need to set that aside to dry, and that is going to give me plenty of time to create the flower that's going to go on top of this card. So you can see the glitter there. Let's let that dry, and we're going to die cut out all the flower pieces using this lighter orange cardstock. Now this is called the Star Pink Tulip, so really you could do it in pink, but I just thought orange would be really fun. So here you can see the main pieces of the flower. They are labeled 1 through 5, and they have a keyhole mechanism that allows you to line these up perfectly every time and quickly, taking out all the guesswork for you. So I have a little finger style blending brush that I'm using to apply the Autumn Blaze ink. So this is a darker shade than my cardstock, and because I started out with orange cardstock and I'm coming in with a darker orange ink, it makes adding the dimension and shading of color so quick and easy. So I highly recommend starting out with a light shade of the color of flower that you want if you want to make quick and easy cards. Now there's so many ways that you could do these flowers with, color with Copic markers or colored pencils. Lots of fun ways that you can do these flowers. So this is just one of those ways, and I think it's one of the quickest ways to do that. So we're going to start with the flower layer that's labeled 1 and add on those little accent pieces that make it look like the petal is folded up or curving. And then I'm taking the flower that's labeled 2 and I'm going to glue that on top of the other one, lining up that little keyhole opening in each flower, and then I know that it's lined up perfectly. It's so easy to do. Then I also have the guide there on my left hand side, and that helps me know where to add on those folded petal pieces. So you just follow along with the guide step by step, and like I said, it could not be easier. They have really made it easy for you to make a gorgeous flower that looks like it took you forever, but it really didn't. So there we're adding layer 4, and then layer 5 is going to be that smallest piece. And not each of the layers, but most of the layers have some of those little die cuts that look like the rounded petals, and that really brings the flower to life and gives it more of a realistic and interesting feel to have that dimensional part of the flower that's curving. I love it. So layer number 5 is the smallest and the last one. Now you're probably wondering about that number 5 and the hole in the middle of the flower. There is a die to cover that up, and that's the last piece that you see right there, and that is what is going to complete this flower, and it just looks amazing. I mean, I think so. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below, what you think of this Star Pink Tulip. It's a gorgeous flower. Okay, now we're going to move on to the leaves. There are 6 leaves. Now there's only 5 dies because one die cuts out 2 of the leaves at once. I did a kind of medium toned green and bringing in the evergreen ink to really darken that up and kind of have it fade out to that lighter color. I love this look, and it's really easy to do because I started with the colored cardstock and added darker ink. So super easy. I'm going to do this same look on on all of the petals. Now, one of these is actually a layering piece. You can choose to layer it or you don't have to, but I went ahead and did that, and again it kind of looks like it's folded or like curving up, so I love that look. So now we have our 5 leaves, and we're going to do a little bit of splattering on our die cut. So I have some fire brick ink, so this is even one shade darker than the Autumn Blaze I used to do my ink blending. I'm going to press that onto this acrylic sheet, spritz it with water, and then pick that up with my paintbrush and just tap it over the top of the flower. I let that dry just for a minute, and I'm bringing in my Dr. P.H. Martin's bleed proof white. You could use any kind of acrylic paint here if you want the white layer, and I just watered it down so it's easy to do the splatter, and then the same technique with my paintbrush, tapping it over the top. I love splatters so much, so this is a fun way to jazz up your die cuts, is to add a little bit of splatter. And if you don't love the look, then you get to skip that part, right? Yeah, so my leaves have the white splatter as well, and then I'm going to add the leaves onto the flower. You really can add these wherever you like. There is an example on the front cover of your packaging for this die cut, and you can do your leaves exactly how they did them, or you can change them up a little bit like I did here. So once I have my petals and my leaves glued together, then we're ready to start adding to this card. Now, I thought I was just going to stick the flower on, but I felt like the background needed a little bit more, so I brought back that Autumn Blaze ink, and I'm going to splatter this onto my card front panel. Now, remember, I put that texture paste down, so a lot of this ink is going to resist, but a little bit of it is going to show up, and I love that because then I have just a subtle hint of that splatter repeated onto my card base, and you can see I picked up a lot of it and lightened it out with the paper towel there. It is beautiful. Okay, the next step we're going to do is add a little bit of color around the edge. This is hazelnut ink, and again, it's going to resist a little bit over those areas where that texture paste is, and I'm totally okay with that. I can go back and kind of buff it off later, and then some areas are going to be a little bit darker, and the look that this gives really reminds me of something very vintage, where the kind of decay process of the paper has started to take in effect. I love it. So you'll see me just go all the way around the edge with my little blending brush, and you can see the color is kind of going in towards the middle, but a lot of that is going to come off because of the texture paste. So what I decided to do here is spritz it with a little bit of water, and that's going to help me be able to pick up any excess ink really easily. So that's what I did here with my paper towel, and I'll just kind of pick it up as I'm dabbing, but also kind of burnish over the top of that, and love the look that it came out with in the end. Okay, I'm adding my tulip here with some foam squares. I did add glue over the top of it because the texture and the shininess, the glossiness of that paste. All right, I have a 6x6 card base that I'm adding a panel to that is 5 3/4 by 5 3/4 because the panel that I embossed, I ended up trimming it down to 5.5 inches squared because that's really where the pattern fit the paper the best, is on a 5.5 inch square. So I did that, and then I've got my layered card base, which I love a frame around my card front. I just love that look. It really helps to draw your eye in to the center of the card, and I think it just looks more polished. Okay, let's do a little bit of embossing here. I'm using my anti-static powder tool, and then I am going to emboss my sentiment. So this sentiment is the One Go words and banners. So you can stamp this all at once. There is a die to die cut out all of these at once, and some of them are arched, some of them are in a wave, some is like a little tag, one's like a banner. I love that because not all of them are the same shape, and those shapes you can use for other things. So note that it has a die set. However, when I got this, the die set was sold out. So I'm hoping to get the die set later for this, but I just thought it was a really fun little stamp set to have, and some unique sentiments and some classic ones in here. I am going to use Have a Great Day. I die cut it out with a banner die that I already had in my stash, and then I cut off one end so this can go right up to the edge of my card front. So I'm going to glue that in place right there on my card. And the only thing we have left to do is add a little bit of embellishments, and I think I found the perfect embellishment in my stash. I did get these at ScrapbookPal, but a while ago, so I am not sure if they're still available, but they're from Sizzix, and they're like a really light orange. They almost just give that kind of look of, like, I want to call it milk glass, except that it is orange. I have a dish like this that's kind of antique, and I actually use it in my bathroom for like little tiny shaped soaps. Yeah, so I just thought those sequins were gorgeous. So I added a bunch all over my card to complete this look. But I have to say that star pink tulip is the star of the card. I love it, and I found it so easy to put together, and I think that you would too. I really think it's a good one because it looks so fancy, but the way Altenew has designed this die set makes it easy to put together. Yeah, so be sure to check out the description box below if you're interested in the products I used today. And remember that you can find more inspiration from ScrapbookPal here on the YouTube channel, but also Facebook and Instagram too. I will see you all again very soon with another video. Bye.